So my name is Kiesewetter. I'm a researcher at the ICD, which belongs to the architecture faculty at the University of Stuttgart, and co-founder of the design and technology spin-off company Hilotech. One of the smart and also really beautiful mechanisms is the way the conifer cones protect their seeds and then release their seeds just when the timing is right. Can we, similarly to the conifer cones, use the material wood as a completely passive generator of form, powered only by the expansion of wood cells or the shrinkage of wood cells when their moisture content changes? With this project, we wanted to explore this principle in a furniture scale. The idea is that the furniture pieces would be manufactured in their flat state. It can then be transported with a very reduced volume, and finally it sells shapes completely autonomously in the course of a few days. With the Wangen Tower, we made some more steps towards an industrial implementation of this technology. It is a very lightweight and high-performing structure, but it doesn't look like an engineered building. Instead, it has something more poetic, while still being very simplistic in its geometry. Apart from having these benefits like sustainability, natural materials like wood also offer haptic and visual qualities that are very pleasant to the touch and create spaces with a very welcoming atmosphere.
It's especially an honor to be here, not only as a representative from the BMW Group, but also in my role as a teacher and a professor of practice in Umeå Design Institute in Sweden. And especially a collaboration project which we did, BMW and the Institute together, is something I want to share with you today. We went up to the north with my BMW colleagues, going up all the way to Umeå, even further, and challenged a group of students, which were a group of interaction design students together with automotive design. And we wanted to understand how we can actually tackle the problem of a zero impact emission or a zero impact process design. And even furthermore, how can we apply that to a more than human approach? What we try to achieve is that nature becomes the center of all thinking, as well as we humans are part of that. So the idea is to understand what would happen when nature becomes the main role player in mobility. We started, as I said, in bringing people together up to the north of Scandinavia, just to get a deeper understanding of what is nature about. So what that meant is we went up to Holmön. I don't know who is familiar with these kind of islands. No electricity, no cars, but nature. The days on the island were three days with workshops together with the students. And we went back to the university, and then they start framing the project itself. Because before, they were struggling a lot with the topic of nature-inspired design. After this deep experience of really spending time in nature, they got a deeper understanding of what the zero impact means. And it's not what they have to do, but why they do it. What the beauty is of cherishing this kind of environments. So what I just wanted to share here is the way the students approach this processes. The solutions they were suggesting us, they can be like this, or they can also look a little different. But to wake up us that there is a huge potential in designing with nature, not against it, means also a lot of effort we have to take. But I think it's all worth the journey, and I can encourage you also to work together with young students and get this inspiration in your companies. It really wakes you up.
I am the founder and director of a relatively small design research studio based in the Netherlands called Officina Corpuscoli. And I'm also co-founder and chief mainstream officer of a scale-up company called today Skim. today, often when talking about what I'm concerned with, the practice is described as biodesign. And I find this definition very vague and a little bit lacking depth. So if we go beyond the inspirations that emerge from biomimetic approaches, employing living agents means to encounter them first. And encountering means also getting into an understanding of the agency and of the overall functioning of the ecosystem and of its complexity in order to enable cooperation. So I rather like to define biodesign with a new formulation as nature co-design, where this idea of cooperation, collaboration is permeating. And so if you look at all the great amount of residues and byproducts that we often call waste, we can take all those byproducts or low-value residues and feed them to a fungal culture in order to possibly allow for the creation of something new. And it's from this early experimentation that I had the opportunity to start thinking about a new paradigm of production that could allow us shifting from a typical extractive, exploitative approach to a paradigm rooted in cultivation, in growth. And therefore, what I back then defined as growing design, literally, in fact, artifacts can be grown from processes of cultivation, but growth is also a metaphor for the transformation and the change that design as a discipline must go through. And we started introducing in 2018 and 2019 the first products in the market dedicated to the interior segment, so interior architecture, interior design, acoustic absorbent panels at first, flooring solutions followed up, and then more recently, wall-to-wall panels. That's an example, for instance, of our acoustic absorbent panels that today are commercialized and in fact find application mostly in retail environments rather than offices, rather than musea and public spaces.
Our company, Philips Studios, we are a design studio based in the Netherlands with a mission that's already been said, creating impact through wonder, because we believe that progress starts with wonder. So let's focus on the project Arabidopsis Symphony. Arabidopsis Symphony is an augmented reality experience where you can walk through a field of virtual plants that make music. And the music that they are playing is based on their gene and hormone reactions. And it's not just a plant, it is a specific type of plant. It's called the Arabidopsis thaliana. They will use it because it grows very fast and it's very small. They use it very often in fundamental plant science. And so our project is a collaboration with the Wageningen University. And they said to us, we want to explain to people the dynamic life of a plant. If you just look beyond the surface on a molecular and genomic and hormonical level, they're very much alive, but we don't see it. We don't experience it, we don't feel it. And we started thinking, how could we give plants a voice? And we thought, maybe music. Music is already a translational device. So maybe we can also make this transition to let plants make music so that in some way, on another experienceable level, we could understand them a bit better. So the first step that we did was taking the step from the data points to make it into a graph. So we started to use that, and we put that into a DAW, which is an digital audio workstation. So we used the expression, the gene expression of a plant to create the music for the experience. We used the data of the genes and hormones to create the music. We used the growth model to create a generative model to create unique plants everywhere the experience, the installation was on display. And we used local weather data on the spots where the Arabidopsis Symphony was on display. And I wanted to give you some impression of how an Arabidopsis would feel being in a cold evening in Anchorage in Alaska.